Alrighty guys, it's iPhone season again. The 17 is out. I have the 17 Pro Max here with the new A19 Pro chip. And we're going to put it up against the 16 Pro Max from last year to see which one comes out on top. We've got 8 gig of RAM in the 16 Pro Max and now 12 gig of RAM in the 17 Pro Max. We'll see how much that makes a difference. Let's put them head to head and see which one comes out on top. Alrighty guys, hopping into the video, we have the 17 Pro Max on the left-hand side. As you guys can see, a nice cosmic orange, looks very, very sleek. And then I have my 16 Pro Max in the gold on the right-hand side. Screen brightness is on maximum settings here, so we can see everything. Let me just readjust these phones to make sure they're in frame perfectly. Screen brightnesses, like I said, are on 100%. Everything else is exactly the same. Just before we start, I'm going to do a reading with the thermometer to see, or the temperature gun to see how much we're getting. We're getting a 33.6 degrees, 33.8 on the 16 Pro Max, in the middle of the screen, and then 34.2, I don't know if that picks up on camera, on the 17 Pro Max. So starting off, the 16 Pro Max is actually a lower temperature, even though it doesn't have the vapor chamber cooling. Okay, let's hop into some light activities to open up a few apps to see how that goes. Don't forget the 17 Pro Max now does have 12 gig of RAM versus the 8 gig of RAM on the 16 Pro Max. I want to see how much of a difference that is, if any difference at all. So let's just go into opening some applications side by side. Then we're going to do a time trial like I did last year of opening all the apps, and we'll see how that goes as well. All right, let's open up Fruit Ninja. 1, 2, 3. They're going to be probably virtually the same, but the A19 Pro chip obviously should be, I think they said 20% faster than the A18 Pro on the 16 Pro Max. Exactly, pretty much the exact same. Let's go into some other things like maps. 1, 2, 3. Pretty much exactly the same. I'll leave all the app switches open as well, just to see how the RAM plays and see how that does. If it can handle all the apps being open, it'll be very interesting to know. App Store, 1, 2, 3. A little bit faster on the 17 Pro. All right, let's open up weather, 1, 2, 3. For whatever reason, there we go. The 16 Pro Max couldn't load up there, but again, not too much of a difference. 17 Pro Max definitely did win though. Let's do the clock app, 1, 2, 3. Pretty much exactly the same. Let's do Safari, 1, 2, 3. Pretty much exactly the same. And as per usual, I've got my speed test apps within Safari. Let's open up some web browsers, 1, 2, 3. I think they're still loading. That actually finished first. So this finished first. Okay. Let's open up some more. CNET, 1, 2, 3. Side by side. They're still very similar. Still haven't finished. 16 Pro Max finished first. Apple, 1, 2, 3. I think that was pretty much neck and neck. Okay. And let's go New York Times. It's pretty heavy. 1, 2, 3. Okay, again. Okay, 17 Pro Max won that one out. But 16 Pro Max did really well there. I know it's on the only Safari and it's all like an online-based test, but still very interesting to know. So let's open up the camera app, 1, 2, 3. Again, one's not too fast than the other. They're pretty much exactly the same. Alrighty. Alright, so opening up apps and whatnot, pretty much exactly the same. As you guys can see in the app switches, everything's exactly the same. Everything's still opened. It's staying there. We're going to see how it all fares up in the actual test. Now, I want to see, now within speed test, I've actually already done a 5G test on both devices. We're going to do a Wi-Fi test as well. So if I go to results here, you guys will see the results of the 5G tests. The speeds were definitely higher on the 17 Pro Max than the 16 Pro Max. I don't know if that's got to do with anything new within the phone itself, or it's just the new antenna layout because of the aluminium. I'm not sure. Leave it up to you guys, whatever you think and find out. But they are the results there. Now I'm going to do a Wi-Fi test, and I'll come back to you once that's done. All right, results are in. Both devices, same Wi-Fi, same servers, and definitely the 17 Pro Max just edged it out. Not by much, but still just faster in all categories. So there are the speed test results, both on 5G and on Wi-Fi. Now, Geekbench 6 is something we need to run. So I'm gonna run Geekbench 6, come back to you guys once that's done as well. 1, 2, 3, open them up at the same time. 16 Pro Max, definitely just night and day there. I don't know what's going on, but let's do a CPU benchmark, and we'll come back to you guys once this is finished. Alrighty, scores are in. Here they are, single core and multi-core, definitely a lot higher on the 17 Pro Max, as they should be. Let's check the temperatures right now. They're about a degree difference before they started. Now, this is at 38.4. Sees the vapor chamber and making a difference at all. 36.8, so it's almost 2 degrees cooler on the 17 Pro Max. Definitely making a difference at the moment. Very interesting to know. There is the Geekbench scores for you guys to see. So they are the main benchmarks I'm going to do today. I'm not going to go too in depth. Now, let's get to opening some apps. Again, like we did before. Let's see right now, once we've done those tests, if anything is slowing down at all. Let's go with some bigger games like Asphalt 1, 2, 3. Let's see if this makes a difference at all. 17 Pro Max definitely edging out the 16 Pro Max at the moment. All right, 17 Pro Max definitely got ahead there. Yeah, you can't really feel too much of a difference, to be honest with you. But I will, throughout the test, just keep taking temperature readings to see which one is cooler. From the looks of it, the 17 Pro Max vapor, the vapor chamber cooling is working, it seems to be anyway. So we'll see as the test continues. All right, that's ready, that's ready. So they're pretty much exactly the same. There's nothing too different so far. I know it's virtually maybe a second different. All right, we're going to back out of this. We're going to open something like Call of Duty. 1, 2, 3. Again, very similar, neck and neck. Not too much of a difference. Again, the 17 Pro Max a little bit faster, but it's nothing significant where you probably wouldn't even notice it day to day. Because I think those days are gone where, as you guys saw, the 16 Pro Max actually won there. I think those days are gone where there used to be a huge margin in the speeds of the phones. We don't really get that anymore. For the last few years, it's never been like that. So again, it is more for me about how the RAM does and if it can keep stuff open in the background with the 12 gig. If the extra 4 gig does actually help, would be very interesting to know, because honestly, I've been noticing with my 16 Pro Max, I am doing stuff and I'm going back into something like YouTube and it won't stay open. That is because of the RAM. So that is the reason why that won't happen. So I want to interested to know if the 17 Pro Max can fix that issue for me. Now, let's go into TikTok. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Not too much of a difference. Again, slightly edged fast on the 17 Pro Max. Nothing significant. Let's check the temperatures at the moment. 38.5 on the 16 Pro Max. And 36.8. Again, 2 degrees difference between the two devices. So vapor chamber cooling actually running a lot, or 2 degrees cooler than the 16 Pro Max from last year. All right, we're going to do the clock test where I start the clock and go through the apps and see which one's faster. It'll give us a kind of a baseline. I know it's not scientific, but it will give us a good indication of opening apps and see what stays open, what doesn't stay open. So let's close everything. That's the first thing we're going to do, is close everything up on both devices. All right. Now, let's start with the 17 Pro Max. All right, ready, go. So it's going to run through all the apps, opening them up again, and then I'll run a second time later on after we do the 16 Pro Max test to see if everything stayed open in the background. We do have Lightroom here. Let's save a copy to device. Asphalt, let's open that. So this is just, again, gives you, like I said to you before, a general view of when you're going through day to day, how opening apps are, if it stays open in the background, if they don't, if they reset. That will significantly change the time. So we're onto Temple Run here. That's loading up. Netflix. Like I said, it's not as scientific as some other tests, but at least both devices, I won't be as accurate on either one of the devices. So it's going to be pretty similar in terms of the way I'm opening apps on either device. Just scary how far these devices have come in such a short period, of how quick they open up the games. Even from 3 years ago, the games used to take a lot longer. Even Geekbench used to take a lot longer to run, and now it's just literally, look how quick it's going through them. It's crazy. PUBG is a heavy game as well. So I did have thrown in a few heavy games there, PUBG, Call of Duty, to see how, again, how long it takes and how hot they get. That was really quick. All right. It's exporting. Now, this movie is my drop test video, which is 2.1 gig. So I might speed this part up. Obviously, you can see the time on the top left, the top of the screen. It's not going to go anywhere. I'll speed this up all the way to the end, and then we'll see what we're left with. Alrighty, that test with the export on iMovie took 10 minutes 31:54. I'm going to run the same test again, but this time I'm going to do it without the export. I'll do that at the end, just so we can get a clear indication, because I should have put the export at the end, but I put it in that one. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. We're going to do the same test on here now, even with the export, and we'll see how we go. So let's go here. 3, 2, 1. And it'll be interesting to see if anything comes close to the 1031. I know when I did the test last year without doing the iMovie export, I got, I think it was like a minute 56 or something like that. So it'll be interesting to know how close we get to that score. But again, I'll do that after the fact. I'll let these tests run out, see what they come to, see what the temperature is. I should have checked this one right now, but let's check it in a moment. I don't want to ruin the test. All right, we're on to Temple Run 2, to Netflix. It's only on 46 seconds. It's going great. Call of Duty. All right, now we can get this reading. 33.6 it's at. Now, I've given it at least a minute to cool down, so we didn't do it straight after the test finished, so we'll give it a minute to cool down on this one to give it an accurate representation. All right, Balloons Tower Defense now. Even this is loading really fast. You actually forget how fast everything does load, even on an older device. PUBG Mobile. Like I was saying to you before, it's a heavy game, but they opened really, really fast before. I'm interested to see if it opens the same on, 16 Pro Max did it exactly the same. TikTok. Weather. Maps. Camera. iMovie. All right, let's do an export like we did before. Share it. Save video, and I'll come back to you guys once this export is done as well. All right, the 16 Pro Max is done with a time of 7:08. How is that possible? I'm not even sure. I don't know if I've missed an app or I didn't miss an app. Next test, we're going to close all the apps out. Let's do that. Let's get them all closed. All right, and we're gonna do my stopwatch app. So start with the stopwatch and work through all the apps. Let's see how we go. Starting with the 17 Pro Max. 1, 2, 3. A minute 39. All right, that's pretty fast. That is pretty fast. Let's do it on the 16 Pro Max now. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, you can't make that up. That is pretty much exactly the same. There you go. Just randomly, I know this has just been running a test. 17 Pro Max is at 32.3 and the 16 Pro Max, 35.7. I know this has been sitting for a minute 39, so maybe it will come down in temperature, but that is significantly lower on either device. Guys, times are pretty much exactly the same. Now, let's go back through them and let's see what's open. So if I start with Fruit Ninja, let's see if there is the 12 gig of RAM. There is my prime example. There's the first example. 12 gig, didn't have to reload this app. All right. Lightroom. All right, that's exactly the same. Asphalt, same thing. It looks like connecting to server, it says. This isn't having loaded, so is this going to load or is this... That is still faster. It did load a little bit, but not as much as what this one had to. Temple Run. Oh, they're ready to go. They're small games. Netflix, they're small. Call of Duty. That's ready to go again. This has to reload. Definitely the 12 gig of RAM is helping apps be kept in the launcher and ready to go, compared to the 8 gig on the 16 Pro Max, where you can see that the RAM has to reload the apps because there's not enough RAM. Like, it has to reload them, has to reboot them. Balloons, that's ready to go. A lot of the big, heavy, intensive apps. So PUBG will probably be another one. Guess not. I was wrong. App Store. These are ready to go as they are. Weather, ready to go. Maps, exactly the same. Camera, exactly the same. iMovie, exactly the same. Interesting, guys. Very interesting. If we go back to Fruit Ninja, again, has to reload the app. So you can definitely see the toll that the 8 gig is coping with compared to the 12 gig of RAM. That just keeps everything open. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but day in, day out, I do notice it on my 16 Pro Max with YouTube a lot. So very interesting. Now let's check the temperatures. 36.9, 32.8. So vapor chamber cooling is working as well. Everything seems fantastic. Everything seems pretty good. And just touching them, yeah, you can definitely feel more heat on the right. 100% feel more of the heat. So guys, that is the speed test between the 17 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to smash the thumbs up button. Let me know if you guys have any more ideas. I'm definitely going to do a video with the iPhone Air, comparing that in terms of the cooling, because there's obviously no vapor chamber cooling in this phone, to the 17 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max to see how they all stack up. I'll do some tests with that, so a bit more in depth. Yeah, a bit more in depth in terms of Geekbench, speed test, and those kinds of apps. Something more heavy to see how the GPU and CPU usage goes. Apart from that, if you have enjoyed, smash the thumbs up button. Thank you for watching the speed test. Take care. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.